In this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we are getting sexy and kooky. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. Now in this episode, I'm doing a Kouki conversion on the 180SX. Kouki, Koo meaning light and happy and good luck.
We're doing
and
a lightness and happiness
key
conversion.
meaning bright.
A light and bright conversion.
We're light, bright conversion. But Kouki also is a term that is, it's terminology that's used to represent a particular era in the late 90s, which back in my day, we just called it a Type X conversion. It's basically, this is the JDM cool kids way of just like going, I'm buying some newer stuff that still fits on the old car and I'm just gonna bolt it on. But why would you say that when you can do a Kouki conversion?
If the front of a car, when the front of a car gets updated, it's called a facelift. What's the back of the car called?
That's an arse.
It's an arse lift, isn't it?
I think so. It's an arse lift. So I'm doing an arse lift, a Type X conversion, or for the cool kids out there that own Silvias and Supras and other things that are parked right now in the car park, hoping they'll make their way out in one piece. This is a Kouki conversion.
This 180SX has been through a few owners and a few walls since we owned it back in 2013. It is rough, but today we're going to start fixing it up by updating the rear end with a Type X conversion.
Now, who doesn't love getting mad parts from Japan? Particularly when they're cheaper and arrive faster than getting the same thing in Australia. So I'm pretty pumped about this first part of our Kouki conversion. And this here has come all the way from Shijiro Urabe in Fukuyama, all the way from Japan to Sydney, Australia. Oh, first JDM item of the day, everyone. This is, wow, look at that colour, that pearl yellow. Never seen such a thing. So this is, so I don't need this yet, so I'm just going to open half of it, but this is a Type X wing. Look at that colour. Pearl yellow, never seen such a thing. So this is obviously off the later model 180s. And that is just going to go, the green and gold, everyone, Australia. So that's going to be awesome. But the next one, this is what I am super excited about, because the contents of this is what's really going to blow everyone's wormhole right open. Because this is, oh yes it is, this is our Kouki conversion kit. Now it's not really a conversion kit, but these are all the parts we're going to need to Kouki convert our 180. Marty, are you pretty stoked about this, man?
Yep.
You should be, dude, because look at this. This car is about to go from its 1989 era. Oh yes, my 180 that I had back in the day had these as well. After I got crashed into on the M4 by some drunk dude in a Jeep. Look at that. Look at that. Check this out, man. So we're going from those, like 1989 spec, to 1997 180 style.
Do you get a different middle bit too?
I hope so. I hope so. Andrew Hawkins. Hello, mate.
Got a present for you.
Thanks for coming down. What do you got?
It's an exhaust, or a catback section of an exhaust.
A JJR exhaust. I already have an exhaust, man. I got the full JDM 5000 double cannon blast pipe Extreme Tokyo Drift Edition.
Now I got you a more normal exhaust so that when you do actually hit a wall backwards, this doesn't destroy the whole back end of your car. That's why I want you to change it.
Okay, all right. So you're not a fan of these?
They can look and sound kind of cool but dumb, but yeah, generally when I want to, run the wall, sometimes you hit them and then it takes the bar with it and smashes half the exhaust and takes that with it as well.
You don't like it?
Plus, you like going to Maroon. There's no way that's going to pass the sound limits at Maroon. So, normal exhaust, mate. Present for you.
All right, thanks, man. You're going to help me put it on? You're here to do some madness and stuff with me?
I've been roped in, haven't I?
Yeah. Oh, dude, look at this.
I can't say no to working on it, listen.
Does this excite you way more than my Saab?
Yes, much more. Do you notice I haven't been over in a while?
Yeah, I did
there's a
notice
reason.
that. You didn't bring me an exhaust for my Saab.
No, I wouldn't even know where to get anything for a sub.
Now look at this. Now how
Sweden.
much better? What are you saying over there, mate?
Sweden.
What?
You get stuff from Saabs for Saabs from Sweden.
Sweden.
No, Switzerland. No, Denmark. Where are they from?
Thanks for chiming in, man. Oh, we should shut up now.
He's a wealth of knowledge on Nissans and subs, isn't he?
He is. Oh, dude, so I'm so stoked about this. It's going to be awesome, and we get to add some more colours to the car. The mad mismatch.
Well, the colours are pretty terrible to begin with, so who cares if there's more of them, right?
That's true.
Well, although, is it an improvement over olive drab fence green that it once was?
Well, someone was inspired by our green and then painted it even a
green.
worse green.
I do like Type X though. Type X
Type
is
X
for the
is
win.
awesome.
They are a bit more expensive to replace when people smash into you after drifting, but you know what? Doesn't matter.
The only person that would be able to crash into those is Marty. And so there's two good things about that. The first thing, for him to crash into them, it would mean that I'm in front of him.
That's right.
So that makes sense.
I will make sure that always happens now.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Thank you. The second thing is that he would need to either be out-braking me or outperforming me to get close enough to crash into the back of me, which again, let's just remind everybody.
Think about this.
I don't think that's possible either, is it?
If
My
you're
car is so
sideways
hard.
and he's close to you, he's going to hit your door, not your light.
Yeah.
So your lights are actually protected for that reason, until you go backwards into a wall. But other than that, they're protected.
And then let's have a chat about the diff that we put in that is now not there because it got unicorned.
Yeah, I did giggle to myself watching you try to do donuts and drift it going, where'd the diff out of that car go? Because I do specifically remember putting a two-way diff in,
Yeah.
but apparently it exploded because someone else abused the car and then got replaced with a normal diff. So
Okay.
that explains why it has...
That makes me feel better.
It does. It actually will explain some of the crappiness of the driving, yes.
For this relight conversion, we're going to need to remove the taillights, centre garnish and lower panel. We'll also need to modify the wiring loom to fit with the more modern taillights. Interestingly, the newer model parts are literally half the weight of the old pieces, though this may have something to do with how many layers of paint are on this dirty old drift car. The panels and lights have been siliconed into place, so we need to cut them off the car.
There you go. Don't you love that noise?
Oh,
That's the noise of a Nissan cracking.
far out. That sounded brutal.
Look at that.
Hey, if the sound isn't brutal when you remove it on a 180, there's something wrong.
With one light down, now I'm going to cut mine out. And then I'm going to use a pry bar to release it from its years of dodgy drift repairs and mountains of silicon. With that done, we can remove the lower piece, clean everything up, and then replace our rear end with our mad Type X Kouki parts. These all bolt on directly, which makes it a really easy mod for you to do on your 180, but Type X lights are super expensive. A second-hand set like this could cost you around $1,000, whereas the older model lights that we're taking off can be picked up for around $40. So I really hope I don't hit a wall backwards.
Yeah, dude.
Oh dear.
It's David. It's Dave.
Mate.
Hey,
Hey, Dave.
how you going?
Hands up if you own a turbo Mitsubishi.
Hands up if you own a turbocharged Nissan.
Yeah, and the rest of the internet.
Our friend Dave has turned up to help Marty on some super secretive mods on Too Sexy, which we will be seeing in the next video of Mighty Car Mods. But meanwhile, our lights are in, but because it's a drift car, they just don't fit.
Do you want the honest answer or do you want the answer?
Yeah, no, the honest answer.
The honest answer? I don't like Type X lights.
Oh, don't you?
No.
Really?
I think they look more dated than the factory ones.
Wow.
I think some people will agree with me, some. But no, this is different too though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit looks cooler.
Wow.
Yeah.
Martin's just dropped a bombshell, everybody, that he prefers these to the Type X lights. There you go. So, someone out there will agree with you and they'll let us know.
It's
and
only,
then they'll get flamed.
I don't mind the circle. I wish I was a skyline, but I'm not thing. It's the bulbous kind of.
That's
thing.
my favourite bit.
Yeah.
They're like erect light nipples.
Exactly, they're light nipples.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the best bit. You just want I mean,
heard-
some people might. I don't know. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't lick a car. Yeah, righto. No, they're good, man. I can't wait to see the thing like looking all like you're gonna tidy it up and make it look mad, aren't you? Like the whole car, right? A bit.
We finally managed to get the lights to fit our dirty drift car, and now it's time to talk suspension.
Some people have this idea that the lower your car is it's the standard internet thing. The lower it is, it lowers the center of gravity, you can go faster. But that's like an overly simplistic way of looking at it, isn't it?
Absolute, complete, utter rubbish. I've always said that when you build a car to go fast, you design your suspension layout, your wheel and tyre setup, etc., and then you make the body fit around that.
Yep.
If that ends up being high, well, then that's just too bad. Find other ways to do it. So if you want to have a mega low car and still drive right, you've got to modify pickup points, you've got to put different knuckles in it and uprights. You can make it low and work, but the amount of work is ridiculous. If you just want to have a very factory sort of setup suspension and just aftermarket arms, if you want to get it to handle right, you worry about your suspension first, and the ride height is just, well, that's just where it is. We're actually pretty lucky that we've already got camber arms, tow arms and traction rods. Traction rods are a bit of a black art. I tell people just leave it unless you really know how to test what you're doing. But camber and tow arms means we can make the adjustments we need to adjust to wheel alignment. We'll set this up to beat Too Sexy first, and then we'll probably change it back a little bit to make it an easy drift car for you to keep learning in, if that makes sense.
Awesome.
The only real difference we're going to do is to beat Too Sexy, we're just going to have less camber.
Okay, cool.
When you drive it to learn how to drift better, we'll just put some camber
more
back
camber
in to
in it,
give it
so
less grip.
yeah,
And then
great.
Just pull the camber out as you get faster and faster and better and better.
Yep. Awesome, man. With that said, why don't we get it up, have a look while we're there. We can change the exhaust, and we can have a look and see what kind of state the suspension's in as well.
Let's do it.
Everyone gets it up in Too Sexy.
These twin blast pipes may look cool, but I'm trying to clean the car up a bit, so they need to go. I'm replacing them with this catback system, which will hopefully bolt straight on without any further modifications. These blast pipes are also super loud, which means the car in its current form is not allowed at some tracks, so installing a cannon should get us around that problem.
Alright, so the JDM spec blast pipes are out. There's already a 3-inch system, which is awesome. So I just realised how weird I must look with these glasses on. And all like super science fiction 5000. So now, hopefully that section there is exactly the same as that section. And if we're lucky, that'll just bolt straight on.
And no, we are not lucky. When I line up this new cannon piece with the existing exhaust, the hangers don't line up with the car. And our position is also compromised by the size of this massive aftermarket rear bumper.
All right, so this looks like it's going to bolt up. The problem is because of this massive bar, where the hangers are, doesn't actually line up with where these are. But I can't actually tell whether this is going to look better sitting like this, which is what bolts up, or moving the hangers. Can I borrow you for a sec, Marty?
Yep.
If I line the hangers up, if you have a look there,
Yeah.
if you stand back and get some distance, does that look like the exhaust is way too
Short, yeah.
indented?
It's too short, yeah.
Whereas if I line it up with where it would actually bolt on here, now none of the hangers line up, but it will end up looking like
No,
that.
it's perfect, because when it comes up, it'll pretty much be flush with your bar, which is what you want, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so mark it out, dude. Yeah. I'll hold
So,
it.
can you
If I
hold it up
this
for a sec? All right, so that needs to come back to,
I go,
it's 4 fingers worth exactly. Well, I don't even need to measure, it's 4 fingers from there.
just mark it on the pipe, I reckon.
I'm
'Cause you also want
left-handed,
the-
so I can't. I need to mark it like that, you know?
Yeah, cool. All right.
We're getting there. It will be a mad 180 again. It will.
I'm using a sliding bevel, which is a tool usually associated with carpentry, to copy the existing angle of the hangers and then replicate the same angle further down the cannon so I can move the hangers. With the hanger removed, now we can relocate it further down the cannon, making sure we get exactly the same angle as the previous position. Then I can tack it into place with a welder and test it out on the car.
So I've tacked these hangers on. Now I'm going to take a hammer with me so I can actually test fit this underneath the car. Ah, that's still very hot. And then I'm going to take a hammer so that if the angle's not exactly right, then I can just adjust it one way or the other, because I was using stuff that you usually use for carpentry to try and get this right, and by using a photo that I took off my iPhone. So I'm going to put this up under there now, see if moving these hangers actually works, gets it where it needs to be. If it does, then I'll just weld this up for real, and then I'll look at the next one.
The exhaust now fits and the hangers line up, but I still need to adjust one of the front hangers. I've used some wire to mock it up into position so I can make sure it clears everything, and then we will weld it again. With the baffle removed, I've now run into my next problem. My seatbelts have expired.
But these belts say they're not valid after 2003 and they were made in 1998.
Yeah.
Now, why would they have made their way in here?
Well, you have to remember that when you buy these online or buy them from a store, they might have had them in stock for a year. Often you find that, like, for example, I just bought a new helmet because it's expired by 10 years, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
But it's dated last year. And I said, have you got one from this year? They said, no, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, right.
So you're often a year behind to begin with. Then you've got a guy that's had it in stock for a year, and then you've bought it and it's got 3 years left. But what you do have
But
to
someone's
remember,
put that in after we built the car. So, like, they've
Yeah.
put that in the last couple of years,
Yep.
knowing that it's like more than 10 years out of date.
And then we found something else.
there is a bong in this car.
No,
A can bong.
What's a can bong?
What is a can bong? Okay, where I went to high school, right, unfortunately neighboured a not so great area. So you did learn a few things on the streets, and that is a can bong.
That's just feral Nissan stuff, man.
Man, what the?
Drifters, mate, drifters.
That could have been 5 owners old for all we know. It could have been there for the last 5 owners.
I feel like...
I'm thinking not, because we did clean this out pretty good.
Did we?
But that's since us, definitely.
But, I mean, I feel like this car possibly has a seedier past than it already appears. And look at like the roof's being held on with rivets.
There's
So
a
many
bong in
people on the internet are upset about this car. Have you seen all the comments? 418,
Dude.
and it's like...
There is a bong in the car.
Gift spec.
Oh, I now know why these seatbelts were bought on special.
Yeah.
2003 spec seatbelts.
Because what went in the bong took up the money for new ones. Wow. I don't know what to say anymore.
Anyway, let's buy some new seatbelts. Let's buy some new seatbelts, all right?
eBay?
Yeah, or maybe when the driver gets
use
in,
this.
you just strap them in.
Oh, wow.
Let's move on from there and install our Type X wing.
People in Japan are pretty courageous about their colours and style compared to us.
Sure are.
Like, you know, we're reasonably conservative and,
Yep.
oh, the internet said this and it has to be this. In Japan, they do not give a shit. And I love that.
That is the ugliest combination of colours I've ever seen. But I think when it's all the same colour, it might look incredible.
The same colour?
Yeah. Do you love it?
Yeah.
Are there already bolt holes there?
No.
You drilling your car?
Yeah.
Do you like the wing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do too.
This is an OEM Nissan Type X wing in pearl yellow, a colour that I haven't seen before. This was only $180 from Japan, and the same thing in Australia was almost $1,000. Underneath the yellow, it looks like it used to be purple, and underneath that, it used to be white, so it's probably been through a few cars in Japan already.
Back in the day, they didn't know this was going to be on there, so there's no pre-drilled holes just waiting there to be filled with a big hard bolt. And so because of that, it's actually a little bit tricky to kind of work out how to line these up exactly. And so we've kind of got some rough measurements that we found on a forum of someone who had measured up theirs. And then some people can use paper templates or different things, but we actually have a different idea. So I'm going to tilt it back like this and expose 2 of the doodles, at which point Marty and I will lube them up good. Like this. Lubie von Lube Station. And now we'll get a little bit more lube. Lube up the rear end as well. Ready to lube up the rear, Martin? And now,
Lift it away.
we just give that a little press, and if we lift away, we should get 4 holes that are ready to be drilled. Look at that.
Cool. And now
That
we can measure them to check that they're the same.
Really?
Yeah. That's. You should probably get a ruler and you.
Get a ruler and just
Yeah,
make sure it's all perfect
just measure
first.
it, yeah.
And also make sure that there's nothing under there. So, I don't know about you, but I'm really glad we double checked the measurement of these. Are you feeling me, man?
Yeah, man.
Feeling where I'm at?
I'm glad you measured. What is it? Measure once, cut. No, measure once, drill 4 times.
Martin, let's
I have a greasy finger and I'm going to sort that out with a rag.
we're going to see if this actually fits, and then they can think that we're cool, or they can think our tips are rubbish.
It's good. I just think that drill bit might be a bit small.
The holes are perfect.
The holes are spot on.
We just drilled it with a 2 smaller drill bit.
Well, that's 6 mil. They might need to be 8.
I mean, I'm perfect over here, man.
Boom!
Bang! Yes!
That looks awesome.
My car's ready for Rio, man. Look at it go.
With my baby.
My mum's calling.
Come on.
Oh, it's Andrew Hawkins.
Hello, mate. I've got a guy that can put together a Nismo two-way LSD inside a 4:3 diff ratio diff, like R200 diff.
Yep.
5 volts for 850.
Okay.
That's actually cheap because it's 4:3. If it was 4:1, it would be like, yeah, it's all right. But 4:3s are hard to find, and for your car, a 4:3 would actually be pretty cool to have.
That's awesome, man. Thank you very much. That's amazing.
All right, dude, I'll let you know.
Unreal. Thanks, mate. Bye.
Dude, let's lift the boot and bolt it in. How do we open the boot? You can't open it with the key anymore, can you?
No. You can't.
I'm using a step drill bit to make some new holes so I can get nuts on the underside of the Type X spoiler. Otherwise, it is almost impossible to get them on. And there it is. We've done a Type X rear conversion. We've gone from this to this. And I reckon it looks freaking awesome. Now, just to give you an idea of what it would look like all the same colour, here is my old 180SX. And here is the same car with the Type X conversion where it's all in black, so you get an idea of what it would look like.
Now, I had a very, very fun day, and it could be part of like harken back to my whenever I was like a little dude. But Type X 180, like at the moment, it looks a little bit Olympic Games because there's just stuff everywhere. I know, but I kind of like, we got the green and gold. That's the Australian colours,
Yeah.
national pride. This beautiful multicultural land that we live in, where you can buy a delicious kebab one day and eat a witchetty grub the next. I ate a witchetty grub myself, pulled it out of the ground, cooked it with a cigarette lighter.
Or you can eat at a fish and chip shop, but there's certain ones you shouldn't go near. But
Really?
this is awesome. Your exhaust looks great.
Yep,
Your
exhaust
lights look
is
cool.
on, the
Your
lights are on,
I think the
the
lights are going to
garnish.
come into their own when it's all like, if it looks a bit more uniform.
You keep saying that, Martin. So look, massive thank you to Andrew Hawkins, of course, from Motive for coming out and spraying us with his Nissan knowledge. And there it is. So of course you can follow our balls on the Faceballs. That's faceballs.com/balls. And that's it, Martin. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
And while I was making this video today, Marty was also making a video on Too Sexy, and that is going to be the next episode out on Mighty Car Mods.